Hi, so today I'm going to speak about how to start weight loss journaling. Now, the first thing I'd like to say is this: you've got to be in the right place mentally to want to do weight loss journaling. And when I work with my clients, we don't start using this particular journal you can see on the screen there, the Think Different Weight Loss Journal, until around about week number 7 stroke week number 8 of them working with me. And why do I leave it until then? Because if you're going to journal correctly, you have to put in quite a bit of information. Is it required to put in the level of information I'm going to be showing you right here and now? Probably not for you if you're just starting out. But if I go through what I give my clients in week number 7 stroke week number 8, it will give you some ideas of the sort of things that you can put in your journal to get going. But the key thing is you have to be ready to start to write things down, because look, for most people the act of journaling actually helps them to become conscious of where they are. And for a lot of people, they don't want to know where they are. They want to bury their head in the sand, and they don't want to face up to the reality that maybe they're not eating as well as they could, they're not doing any physical activity, and emotionally they're just totally out of the game. And those are not nice things to have to face up to. But if you are going to become successful at weight loss, whether you journal or not, you have to face up to those things in order to move ahead. We all have to. I've had to face up to them myself when I've had to lose weight. My clients have, and it'll be exactly the same for you. So I'm going to go through this Think Different journal with you. I'm going to whiz through certain sections, otherwise it'll become an incredibly long video, and there'll be some sections where I will spend just a little bit more time. Take any ideas from it that you will. If you have any questions at all, then feel free to get back to me. So let's dive in then to this journal. So on the front cover is a client of mine, her name's Sue. Sue lost 5 stone 1 pound. Here you can see Sue again. Went on to do things like Kilimanjaro, Race for Life, which was fantastic. There's a table of contents here. There's a little bit about how the journal was created, and interestingly enough, my journal was created in collaboration with my clients. I didn't just do it out of my own head. Well, the initial iteration was out of my head. I put it out to my clients. They looked at it. They told me what they liked about it, what they didn't like about it, gave me some feedback. I tweaked it, and eventually, after about iteration number 4 or 5, I think it was, I've got the journal I currently have now. So that's how it was created. This is a bit about why it's important to keep a journal. This page here is what I call the Oscar script and Oscar and your goal image. So basically, I get my clients to come up with some language in their head that's unique to them, how they want to see themselves moving, feeling, acting, looking, and then they come up with a goal image as well, and they combine those two things together. So they say it, they feel it, and they see it as well. So you really do use all of your mental faculties to bring your goal to life. This is your goal starting weight. So we've got current weight and the date and your goal weight. This section is important, I think, because it goes from week 1 down to week number 12. Start date. So let's say you start January the 1st, and then you go January the 8th, the 15th, 22nd, 29th, then you're into February, all the way through to March. And I get my clients, and I think it's a good idea for you as well, to set yourself a minimum of 1 pound weight loss per week. And you put that in the column all the way down here for 12 weeks. So by the end of 12 weeks, you'd have lost 12 pounds. So you can see where you could be in 12 weeks' time, losing 1 pound a week. I then get them to write in their actual weight next to this 1 pound. Now, the reason I do it this way is because I want them to see that even losing a pound a week can have a big impact in 12 weeks' time. A lot of people want to lose 2 pounds a week, 3 pounds a week. I think those figures are unsustainable for most people. But if you can see in 12 weeks' time you are 12 pounds lighter than what you are now, I think you'd be quite happy with that. If you're then hitting 1.25, 1.5, 1.75 pounds a week, then you're actually going to be ahead of the 12 pounds that you've put down here for a pound a week. So that's how I get my clients to do it. I also get them to record their behavior score. I'm not going to go into that here, but that's a little thing that we talk about in terms of where the mind is when I'm coaching them. So this is an important page. And again, pound a week for 12 weeks, and then you put in your actual weight loss that you achieve week by week, so you can compare it. It's a good little fun game for you to do for yourself as well. You've got your measurement section here, so bust, chest, waist, hips, legs, arms, body fat percentage, and I recommend you do those every 3 months. Don't do them weekly, because you're not going to see the same level of change in terms of your body shape as you will with the pounds coming off on a weekly basis. It doesn't work that way. Typically, 10 pounds is round about a close size, typically. So you've got your measurements there. A little bit here on habit forming, how long it takes to form a habit. Some interesting study was carried out at the University of London, or University College of London, I believe it was, and they were saying the average time it takes to form a new habit is about 66 days. So for some people it's less, for some people it's up into the 200 days plus. That's a bit of information there. And then we've got your eating plan. So Monday through to Sunday, we've got breakfast. I call them mini meals, not snacks. Lunch, mini meal, dinner. You don't have to have these mini meals, not everybody has them, but you have a plan of how you're going to be eating for the week. I think that's important to get that down on paper so it's not in your head. Exactly the same with your exercise, Monday through to Sunday. The time you'll be doing it, the sort of exercise, the duration, and any remarks in there that you need to make. Maybe, for example, you are going to be exercising from a hotel room because you're out. If you travel for your work, and if that's the case, you may need to be taking your resistance band with you, so you've got something to work with. But that's your exercise week. So you just notice this is week 1 and week 2. And I say that for a good reason, which I'll reference again in a few minutes. Then we get into what you're going to be writing on a sort of daily, weekly basis. This is what I call the dashboard. Now, you don't have to have anything as complicated as this or as in-depth as this. As I said, my clients don't get into this until around about week 7 or 8. So it does take a little bit of time before I get them to this level. I don't want to overwhelm people with too much information. So you've got your week commencing up here, week 1. I like to start off with something to do with gratitude. So develop one theme over the week. And what I mean by that is, let's say you say, for this week, my gratitude is going to be focused on my family. So day 1, I'm grateful for having a family. That could be gratitude day number 1. Day number 2, I'm grateful for the fact my family's fit and healthy. Day number 3 could be, I'm grateful for the fact that they're all in good, healthy relationships. Day number 4, they're all in good careers. Day number 5, they're all nice, healthy, well-rounded people. And you sort of keep developing that theme over the course of the week. And I say that because you can go a bit deeper, but the key reason for the gratitude is when we're in a state of gratitude, we are in a far more positive state of mind and we'll get more things done when we're feeling like that. And then we've got a little section here, last week's wins, personal, social, and work. So what wins did you have last week in your life? The smallest wins to the biggest wins and everything else in between. And I think it's important that we recognize those wins because it makes us feel good. And part of being successful at weight loss is making sure we can manage our emotional state. And part of managing our emotional state is being able to make sure we can make ourselves feel good. And one of the ways to do that is to recognize our wins in personal, social, and work. So it's not just about recognizing our wins in terms of, excuse me, I lost some weight this week. That's great. But let's look at this in a more holistic way. And then we get into your week ahead. Now, I've broke this down to 3 sections in their journal. So goals for the week. And again, they can be personal, social, and work. So again, I'm not just talking about having a goal of I want to lose 2 pounds or 1 pound, 0.25 this week. I'm talking about goals in your personal, social, and work life because they will impact how you feel emotionally. And again, I said it a few moments ago, one of the reasons that people become successful on my program and in general with weight loss, I suspect outside of my program, is being able to manage your emotional state. If you can manage your emotional state and feel happy and upbeat more often than not, chances are you're going to be successful at weight loss. So your week ahead, what are the goals? Decide and pick one area. Granted, I know you're going to have more than one thing to accomplish over the course of the week, but pick a big goal out that you really want to achieve for that week. And then talk about the challenge in completing that goal for the week. So again, link the challenge to the goal that you've selected. And then number 3, how are you going to overcome that challenge in that given week? Because every goal that we set ourselves, I can guarantee you there will be a challenge to overcome to achieve that goal. So work out how you're going to overcome the challenge. So all this is proprietary work so that when the week commences, you've got everything in place and you've got a far better chance of being successful of achieving your goal. We then get into some more specifics in terms of your mindset, your diet, and your exercise. Oscar script, I mentioned that earlier. So you say it, you feel it, you hear it. So what you internalize in your head. and just get my clients to tick that on a daily basis to make sure they're doing that. Me time. It's amazing how few people, and myself included with this sometimes, have actual me time where it's just time for you. I'm not talking about, lounging around for hours on end and doing nothing at all. I'm talking about just grabbing 5, 10, 15 minutes a day just to sit quietly, maybe with a cup of coffee, and just stare out into space where you're not thinking about anything in particular. Not many people do that, and I'd be very surprised if you're doing that yourself right now. If you are doing it, fantastic. If you're not doing it, think about maybe introducing just maybe 2 to 3 to 5 minutes a day where you sit and you're just quiet and you just let the world go by. Just try it. Exercise, resistance training. I recommend my clients do at least 3 sessions a week. Cardiovascular, that can be done daily. I want to say that to a lot of people that get a bit scared. They think, what, I do cardio every day, cardiovascular training every day. Well, yeah, we can walk every single day. There's no reason why you can't walk every day unless you've got some sort of medical condition as to why you can't do that. And then over here, I get people just to track their breakfast. Did they have breakfast? Tick, tick, tick. Mini meal, tick. Lunch, mini meal, dinner. And they just tick. And then they just track out of 5 how many they had. Now, it's not essential that you have all of these meals. I have some clients that will have all these meals and lose weight successfully. Obviously, they're doing portion control. I'll have some clients who will have 3 meals. I have some clients that have less than that. But it's just a way of you monitoring what you're doing. And then again, we have this behavior score that I touched on earlier. And then you've got your weight in here that you've achieved. So that's the real detail. And then the final section for week 1, I call it, or I've broken out to 3 areas. Dump it here, any negative thoughts, actions or situations, any positive changes, and notes and actions related to anything you wish. And that can be anything, but let's just talk about dump it here. This dump it here bit is, if you're having recurring negative thoughts over the course of 12 weeks, if you keep seeing that theme coming up over and over and over again, then it's time to do something about it, basically. Hopefully, once it comes up, you address it as soon and as quickly as you possibly can. Any positive changes that you're having, make a note of them. And I said in here, it's about any notes, any actions related to anything you want. And then down here, we've got this week's wins. And again, I mentioned it earlier, personal, social, or work. And these will then be carried forward into week number 2. And we go to week number 2, guess what? It's repetition. Week number 2, eating plan. Week number 2, exercise plan. Week number 2, what you've just covered. Week number 2, the things I've just mentioned. And that goes all the way through. I'm just going to whiz through this now. Right the way through. Apologies if that's making you feel a bit seasick as I'm going through this that quickly. Right the way through to week number 12. I'll explain why I do it that way. There we go. Week number 12. So all the way through to week number 12. And the reason I do that 12 weeks is because repetition. Repetition is what's going to get you the success you want. Look, losing weight is not about doing new fancy things every single week. It's about learning some basic skills, implementing those skills on a consistent basis, and then making small improvements. When you do that, your success will be incredible. The mistake a lot of people make is they learn a new skill, they try it for a little while, and then for whatever reason something happens and they're not as successful as they thought they were going to be, or it didn't quite work as well as it worked in week 1. They give up on that skill, and then they try a new skill, or try a different approach, a different skill, a different way of doing things, and then the same thing happens. Instead of sticking with something, working out why it didn't work out successfully, making those tweaks, and then moving on. That's how you become proficient. I used to coach tennis many years ago, and when I coached my son from the age of 6 to 12, we just hit cross-court forehands like 100, 200, 300 at a time. Serves, same again. Volleys, serve, same again. He went on to become the Wiltshire under 12s champion and under 14 champion when he was age 12. Why? Because we just did repetition. And anybody who is successful in any walk of life, not just weight loss, not just sport, in business, in relationships, careers, you name it, the people who are the most successful do a lot of repetition. The people who are less successful are all over the place. They're always stopping and starting. So repetition is important, and that's why I've set the journal up the way I've set it up. There are a few more sections in this journal. I'm not going to go into those today because I don't want to overwhelm you with too much information. But hopefully that's given you some ideas as to what you can put into your journal. Start off super simple if you want. You don't have to start off with all the things I've mentioned in my client's journal. Pick a couple of things out that you like. Be consistent with it. Don't be hard on yourself. And then look to make little small tweaks week by week. And you'll be amazed at how far you'll come when you keep a weight loss journal. If you have any questions at all about weight loss journaling, or indeed how I may be able to help you on your weight loss journal, feel free to find the link around this video. You can click on there. It'll take you to my online diary where you can book in to have a little chat with me. It's a free conversation, nothing to buy on the call. If we think we could work together potentially, if we think my program might work for you, we'd then set up a second call and we'd have a more in-depth conversation. But that initial call is no more than 5-10 minute conversation. I say it's free to have, nothing sold on the call, nothing to buy on the call. Until next week or the next video, take very good care and bye for now.